Why do I feel lazy about dating after 12 years of being married and now divorced? I don't feel like dating.
Well, your whole identity was wrapped up and associated with that relationship. It's like you wake up together, you go to sleep together, you eat together, you travel together. You're a family unit. You typically when you hang out with other people that are married or other couples that got kids or whatever. And then all of a sudden you're not part of that anymore. And it's like being single. And what was that, 12, 15 years, I think he said he was together?
12.
12 years with married, and who knows, probably dated 2, 3 years,
Hmm.
maybe 15 years total with the same person. And so you're a decade and a half later getting thrown back into the world of being single again. And you're not really the same guy anymore. What happens over that much time is a lot of friendships kind of wither and die because you don't stay in touch. Maybe your girlfriend didn't like some of your friends,
Hmm.
so some of them you stopped hanging out with to please her because you didn't want access to the box being cut off. And then you give up your hobbies, your interests, your stamp collection, your Star Wars collection, that car that you'd always been working on that you were souping up that was a fun project that really brought you a lot of joy. It's like the guys give up all those things, and then all of a sudden they're single and they're in an apartment. They're like, their friends are gone, their hobbies, their interests, all that stuff is gone. They don't even recognize themselves when they look in the mirror. They're like,
Hmm.
I'm not even the same person anymore because they jumped through their butts so much and bent themselves into a pretzel to try to please the woman they were with, and yet she still leaves them. And
Yeah.
so you're gonna have a period of time where you're gonna have to grieve.
Hmm.
Typically something like that. I mean, 15 years of your life, it's gonna probably take you a year or two before you feel like dating again. I remember when I left my wife and I got divorced. We were together 3, 4 years total, something like that. And what I was in my 20s, and so that was a big part of, that's like 20% of my life at that period of time because I hadn't lived a
Yeah.
long time, that many years yet. And so when you go from that, like I remember like 6 months after that, I was happy to be single again. I was sleeping. My best friend had just bought a house down the street. It was an investment property. Got a good deal on it. He's like, it's 4 bedroom, 3 bath. He's like, all I got is a couch and a TV, and I got my bedroom set and
Hmm.
nothing else. You're welcome to stay there. And so I left all my stuff at the house, and I just brought my clothes over because I was afraid we were going to sell the house, and then eventually I'll move all my shit to a new location.
Yeah.
And so I remember he all he had was this like 4 inch foam mattress,
Oh no.
and I had some sheets over it, and there was no dressers, no furniture in the guest room that I was in. I
Hmm.
think I paid him a couple $100 a month, whatever it was. And so I had piles of clothes, and then I had my stuff hanging up in the closet. And quite frankly, it's like I was getting up early, like when it was still kind of dark out, and coming home when it was dark, and was working my ass off. I had my new business was doing well and starting to take off, and that was one of the best times of my life, because
Hmm.
I didn't internally, I didn't want to be married. I didn't want to be in that relationship, and I was just kind of going along with it. It's like I was living my life according to other people's expectations,
Yeah.
and I eventually got to the point where I was like, I got to do what makes me happy, and
Hmm.
instead of trying to please everybody else, I decided to do, even though it was unpleasant, I decided to do what felt right for me for the first time in my life,
Yeah.
and stopped living my life the way everybody else expected me to be and the relationships that they expected me to be in. I was like, this is going to be who I am.
Hmm.
And even though I didn't have anything, I didn't have any of my possessions. I just had my car, some clothes, and I had this 4 inch foam mattress. It's like, it was one of the best and most productive times of my life. I was learning a lot about real estate. I was doing well.
Hmm.
And then I don't know, about a year later, we ended up moving to an apartment that was really nice in a nice area. It was closer to where we were working, and things took off from there. And so, but that was there was probably 6 months, maybe a year, I think, before I even went out on a first date.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted nothing to do with him. I was so thankful to be free. I was so thankful to have my life back. I was so thankful to be doing what I wanted to do, kind of taking my power back and feeling like now I'm finally in control of my destiny where
Hmm.
I don't have all this pressure from friends, family, peer group of everybody trying to mold me into what they wanted.
Yeah.
And it was incredibly freeing, but it
Hmm.
also was scary. And it's not fun going through a divorce. It's
Hmm.
expensive and it can be difficult. And then like, one of the boyfriends that she had after we split up was jealous and worried that I was going to come back potentially. And so he was causing problems in the divorce, trying to stick it to me and trying to keep the conflict going, and we had agreed to everything. So it made it much more unpleasant, much more expensive than it needed to be.
Yeah.
And so it's like you got to take your time. It's like you got old friends that you lost touch with, pick up the phone and call them. Send them an email if you don't have their number anymore or whatever. Reach
Hmm.
out on social media and say, "Hey, sorry I wasn't a good friend," or I really regret we lost touch. Sorry that I promise I'll be a better friend in the future, and get back to your hobbies and your interests and the things that you like doing for fun. Because as a man, you got to get back to a place where you like your life. You got to get up every day and be proud of yourself and where you're at. Because if you don't like your life, if you're not happy,
Hmm.
if you're not having fun by yourself, and you're not excited about your life, you're certainly not going to get a woman excited about your life.
Right.
If you're miserable, she's like, women want to be in a love story. And like the old Cyndi Lauper song,
Hmm.
girls just want to have fun. Girls want to have a good time.
Yeah.
They want to have fun. They want to be in a love story. They want to be with a guy that's happy, a guy they admire, they respect, they look up to. They could follow his lead, submit to him, trust his leadership because he's got things handled.
Hmm.
But if you're going through a difficult time and you're miserable and you're not happy, and then you think, oh, if I get a girlfriend, then that'll solve my problems,
No.
that'll keep you happy for maybe 6 to 12 months. And
Yeah.
then what happens is you start to realize she's not really the source of your happiness. She contributes to it,
Hmm.
but then you realize that you're not happy as a human being. And then when guys realize that, then they start sabotaging the relationship. They stop dating and courting her. They don't make her feel heard and understood. They don't take the time to show that they care
Hmm.
like they used to because they're faced with the fact that they're miserable. So it's super important, especially with a guy 15 years, 12, 15 years with the same woman.
Yeah.
You got to get to a place where you're happy and you're enjoying things
Hmm.
and you're fun to be around. Because if you can't enjoy your own company, you're not going to be good company for somebody else.